we're going to discuss Etsy's policy of ODR, order dissatisfaction rate. And this has been a really hot topic lately, especially if you're on Reddit, then you know it's been a really big point of conversation on Reddit. So people are really upset about it. Etsy sellers, to be specific, are really upset about this policy because it's seen as unfair and targeting small shops, which is what Etsy's all about, and kind of going more towards being seen as an Amazon type service. So people are really not liking this policy, and I got my first ODR warning this year. So we're just gonna go through how you get one, what happens, what you should do when you get one, and how I feel about it, what you guys think. I don't know, because I have some thoughts, even though I'm still pretty new to Etsy in general. I've only been on Etsy for about a year, so to me, I don't make a living off Etsy, so I could see this being an even huger deal if you have been making your living on Etsy and this new policy comes about, and it could really affect your shop. So let's get into the ODR. So what is an ODR? How do you get the ODR warning? So I'm gonna read the three criteria your shop must meet in order to get the ODR. The first one, the shop's order dissatisfaction rate is 1% or higher. The shop has 3 or more orders with a case or low review since its first sale. And I believe a low review is considered 2 or less stars, I'm pretty sure. And the shop has 2 or more orders placed within a 60-day evaluation period that resulted in a case or low review. And one more part I want to bring up, and I'll link this below so you can read it. You can skip this if you're not interested. But basically, if you can receive up to 2, and if you have 2, then you'll be placed under review for permanent suspension of your account. And basically they put in a clause saying Etsy may contact a shop regardless of its ODR if it receives a higher volume of buyer complaints in a short period of time, and all of your shops will be evaluated. So just say one of your shops got an ODR warning. If it's up for review for permanent suspension, I guess they'll take a look at your other shops too and see if there's issues there. The ODR isn't like a secret number, which I know a lot of people I've seen on Reddit have had trouble finding it, but there is a link where you can go and see it. So it is a visible number. You can check it at any time, and if it gets 1% or higher, then you know you're going to get an ODR warning if you haven't already, and that's what I got. So how did I get my ODR warning? Well, yes, I mean, I know, you know how I got it. I obviously met all 3 of these things. So basically, the backstory though of how I got it is I do drop shipping in the sense of I use Printify. I don't just drop ship like things from Alibaba. I create designs and then places in the US print them on things. So I know that's kind of controversial to some handmade Etsy people too. I don't know why I did quotes. That's not a quotation needed thing, but that's what I do. And there's I did another video on it. It was with Printify. There's a thing with My Locker and these ornaments, and it affected a ton of people who used the same provider I did on this one specific product. So essentially that's what led to all of my bad reviews. Mostly. I've gotten, I think, maybe a bad review in the past or 2 from, I don't even remember, but that's what triggered this one of having it 5 in a short amount of time. So I ended up having 5 of 400 and something orders during this holiday season, and I didn't get the email right away, but I did get it because I thought I was going to get it, but I didn't get it right away, and I wasn't checking my percentage because I was just there's nothing I could do about the case since I don't make my products or do anything. I could only deal with what had been sent out and deal with it once it came back. But it's a holiday time. If people don't get their order, if something's messed up, they're a lot more likely to be angry than other times of the year. So I ended up getting the warning, and it was very upsetting because yes, although I do use this service, it's still upsetting because I don't want my shop to get shut down. And it was not just me being affected, it was a whole other issue of all these places getting affected and just really, really bad business. So I have a video on that if you want to check it out, but that's how I got my ODR warning. I get why Etsy did this. I get that it's trying to prevent continuous patterns of bad seller behavior or bad seller service, which is what they state in part of the section I was reading about the ODR. I get that they're trying to do that, but it doesn't really seem to be the best way. They're not looking at the right things, in my opinion, of why they're implementing this policy. I don't know how many bad reviews you had to get. If there wasn't a system in place, I get that there probably should be some type of system in place, to prevent that. But I do think having the star rating of a shop kind of shows that as well. I mean, I have 4.5 stars and I got an ODR. And to me, that doesn't really make sense. I get that they're evaluating it a lot of times on like the 60 days or whatever they said. So I had a bunch of bad reviews within the 60-day period. I had 5 out of like 400, over 400 something. It was like 435 or something. And that's why they said that I got my ODR. And I'm not really a total expert on the subject. I'm just telling you my experience. Some of these things might be a little wrong. That's why I want to post a video, because I want to hear what other people have to say and share their experiences and get the total facts, because I've noticed a lot of people on Reddit being a little confused as well, and I'm a little confused to some things because of course something like this they don't make totally clear because they might not want to make it totally clear, or else that could lead to more issues for them. Makes sense to me. If you want to prevent continuous patterns of bad behavior, so you're evaluating them on a like 60 days and then you're going to reevaluate them, I get that, but I also don't really think that that's the best thing, because that's kind of, it is punishing people. And people were saying this in Reddit, like people during the holiday times, you're going to get shipping problems, and people will leave you bad reviews for shipping problems that are totally out of your control, but they'll still blame you and give you 1 star. You're getting people who don't normally shop at Etsy, they might have purchased something the wrong way and they don't understand, so they're still like giving you a bad review. Like even with digital downloads, people might not understand, even though you have it written as much as you can that it's a digital download, they're not getting any physical product, and they give you a bad review for that. And during the holiday time, if you're getting more sales, there's going to be more issues, and I get they think it's like a ratio, like it should still be 1%, but I just don't think that really makes sense. I actually have 2 Etsy shops. One of them has over 1,000 sales, and one of them has like almost 100, and although I've had less issues with my smaller shop, when people have had a bad issue, they haven't reviewed it, versus like my bigger shop. I don't know if people think, you know, well, this is a big shop, they can tell like I'm just gonna give them a bad review, it doesn't matter as much, or it's just because you're more likely to get crazy people versus like you having less orders. That doesn't make sense either. I don't know, but it does make sense to me that the bigger you are, the more issues you're going to have. So I get that they think it should be 1%, but that doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense that they're evaluating it on that period, because think about the holiday times. That's the period, which is what I had, where you're gonna probably get a lot more issues than normal, and a lot are not your fault. So it's like, you know, you're gonna take the hit already with the bad review, which might have been from shipping, not your fault, and then Etsy is gonna give you an ODR warning, which doesn't go away, which can be held against you. And I just think that is awful, because I don't think it goes away. So it's like, okay, so every holiday season you might normally get a bunch of bad reviews and it's a little over 1%, and you're gonna get a warning that doesn't go away. So if you get 2, you're gonna be under review for permanent suspension. Like, to me that makes no sense, and I don't think they go away. From what I can read, I don't think the ODRs go away. Like you get like 1 year and then they go away. I don't think so. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but if that's the case, then that's really not good in my opinion. Like I was saying, my star, even with these bad reviews it got knocked from 5 to like 4.5 stars with like over 100 reviews, I believe. Let me check. I think it's like 100. I should have this ready, but I don't. I have 152 reviews, 4.5 stars. So I just don't get why they're going after shops that still have a good rating overall, but maybe they did have a period. Like, to me, the whole like period thing doesn't make sense, of why you're punishing people for having a period of bad reviews. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, because it probably was some issue that, you know, maybe the shipping messed up all of their orders and it wasn't their fault in a period, or maybe they did do something that was a mistake, but they've been on Etsy for 10 years and this is like the first time they've ever had. I don't know. I'm just saying, I just don't like that. I really don't like that. And I also don't like the other point that they make, saying, where is it? The shop has 3 or more orders with a case or low review since its first sale. Now the case thing, maybe I've never had a case against me, I don't know. So I'm not really even sure about that. I know a lot of people also complain about the cases and having unfair cases against them, but that to me doesn't make sense. How are you going to say if a shop has 3 or more orders with a low review since its first sale? Because I know you have to meet all of this criteria to get an ODR, but if you've been on Etsy for 10 years, like that's almost a guarantee you're going to have 3 or more. Like, it's not evaluated based on anything other than 3. So it's like they're not taking into account the amount of sales someone has, the length of sales in that one section. And I know, like I said, you have to meet all 3, but to me, I just don't agree with that either. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been on Etsy too long, but now that I have an ODR, and I've been reading about it on Etsy because I've been on Reddit praying I don't get one. Now that I have one, I'm like looking into it more, and I'm not liking it either, guys. I'm really not. In my opinion, this new ODR does not take into account really the best factors. I don't like the 3 definitions of how you would get one, or the 3 criteria of how you would get one don't really make sense to me, because I feel like it's kind of disregarding the nature of different shops and the length a shop has been in business, or the time a shop is in business, how many sales they have. I don't know. I just don't think that it's the best. And also, I think that this will just cause so much more stress, and is causing much more stress for sellers, because we're going to be terrified of getting bad reviews, and we're probably going to lose out even when we normally shouldn't be, because we do not want a bad review. So customers who are lying, who don't understand that it was the mail and you're doing everything you can, but you need to, whatever it is, we're going to lose out because you don't want that bad review. And I just think that Etsy should look into changing it in some other way. I do agree that there could be a system implemented that makes it easier for them on how to evaluate shops, because I could see it being very difficult to pick them out. But another thing that a lot of Etsy sellers are mad about is how Etsy's not really taking charge of taking down drop shippers like Alibaba, who are more like misleading customers, saying they are handmade, just selling like cheap stuff from China or whatever. And you know, Etsy's not really doing anything about that as far as we know. So, you know, there's different things like that. Of course, like everyone's saying, you know, it's a publicly traded company, and the sellers aren't their top priority. But once again, there wouldn't be an Etsy without sellers. And I don't know, that's just what I wanted to go over, because honestly, I just had to get this off my chest. And maybe if you had an ODR, you can give some advice, because I don't really have any advice of what you can do. I mean, all you can do is provide better service, but like I said, for me, I can only provide so much good service, because I can't ship something out much faster, and I can't make sure that what I'm shipping is going to be correct or whatever, because I'm using someone who ships their product. And I know even people who hand make stuff or make stickers, like they'll even use drop shipping, and even certain items in some shops use drop shipping. So I don't know, I think that it could be a big problem, especially since Etsy technically allows these other companies as well for drop shipping. And I don't know, so I'm just kind of rambling on now. But yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video. It's not that quick, but it's quick enough, about ODR, and just get anyone else's opinion. Share what you're gonna do. I think the main thing people have been suggesting is making sure you have your other channels built up, you know, working on whatever it is, like Amazon Handmade or your own website, whatever that may be. So leave your suggestions below of where to go, where to start up on Etsy, because that's what I'm gonna be doing next. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'm gonna do some more Etsy videos hopefully, and I hope you have a really nice day, because it's a great day, you know? It's a great day, I can tell. Okay, see ya.